if you've ever done any of those lead code style questions, then you know that's not what happens in an actual job, right? Like I always say this: if you try to, take that same coding logic, the way you try to solve like a recursive question or whatever style lead code question, and you write that code in an actual job, it will flame your pull request because it's adding unnecessary complication. Unless if maybe that's the only way to solve it, in which case, good luck. You're working in a very very complicated space. But now it then seems like they are less focusing on, okay, can you actually do this job, and more about how smart you are, right? Or how good are you in understanding concepts that are way harder than the actual job. So that way, when they throw you in, you can actually figure it out, right? And it's then, I don't know, it's very interesting because part of me used to hate it, but I actually now enjoy it. I actually enjoy it.
Only you.
Only me. But that's also because it's kind of like a love-hate relationship where I felt it so much where I was like, all right, let me sit down. Let me put my head down into this thing, right? Let me figure this thing out. And the more you do it, you realize there are only X amount of questions that they could ask you. And it's one of these. And if it's a dynamic programming question, then you kind of know what to do. You start with the hardest way to do it, and then hope that before it gets to the point where you do the actual 2D array or the 1D array for the dynamic programming, you actually run out of time because that's the, you know what I mean? That's the actual hard part, right?
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting because ultimately you have, people like the guy who made, I think it was Brew, the guy who made Homebrew, who didn't get a job at Google because he failed one of the technical interviews.
I think it was Apple.
Well,
He didn't get a job at
Apple, yeah. And then they're like, you failed. But then 99% of the engineers are actually using software that he's built, right? So clearly that guy, he knows how to do the job and he has shown it. But, that hiring standard is very, very weird.